Ah, chili mac. This is the dinner that my youngest son probably requests the most. I think there probably are a few instances where he even requested this dinner for his birthday dinner. It's super simple to make and it's really delicious too. Let me show you how I make it. Starting off with some ground beef. This is 90% lean ground beef. That's the kind that I like. Of course, you can use whichever fat content that you like. This is about 1.5 pounds that I got here. I'm just going to get this browning on my skillet here on the stovetop. And I'm just going to start adding some spices right away to this raw meat. The first thing is onion powder. I like to just use these powders rather than putting actual onions because this is intended for kids. So I'd rather go with the onion powder rather than putting an actual onion in this version. And the same for the garlic. We've got garlic powder here going in. And of course chili powder. Check the label on your bottle of chili powder. Some chili powders have extra salt or other spices in there, so you can take that into account when you're adding it to the meat here, so you don't make it too salty. And I don't measure any of these seasonings, I just kind of eyeball it. If I had to guess, I would say probably about a teaspoon of each of these three things. And a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of fresh cracked pepper. And the burner's on medium-high heat. I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on and get that beef browning. And I guess I'll take the opportunity to set the table real quick. Now let's get on to the other ingredients. My favorite cheese to use in this dish is cheddar cheese. Here I've got some mild cheddar cheese. Sharp would be good too, but the mild seems to go better with the kids. I've also used Colby Jack in the past. That works fine. It's pretty good too. I've never actually tried mozzarella with this. It's a pretty rubbery cheese, and I don't know if it would mix very well with this. I'd probably steer clear of mozzarella. And other cheeses that I would not use would be cream cheese or cottage cheese. Definitely wouldn't use either of those. But I'm going to shred this cheese on the large grater setting, and this was an 8-ounce block of cheese. I'm probably going to use about 2/3 of that block for this dish here today. And this ground beef is coming along nicely. I'm going to go ahead and take this potato masher and take it to the ground beef and break that up into smaller pieces. This works really well, and I'm sure a lot of you might be cringing right now watching me use this metal utensil on a nonstick pan. But it doesn't mar up the pan at all. I'm not actually touching the pan with the masher. The beef is kind of creating a buffer between the masher and the pan. And I'm not touching the pan at all. It's not hurting anything. Someone in the comments recently informed me that there's a special tool that they make that's made out of plastic and kind of has a star shape that is specially designed for breaking up hamburger like this. I didn't know such a thing existed, but yeah, if you don't want to use a potato masher, maybe look into one of those things. Certainly beats spending 10 minutes here breaking it up with a spoon. So to this ground beef, I'm going to add one of the large cans of tomato sauce. This is a 28-ounce can. Obviously, 2 15-ounce cans would be about the same amount you could add to it. And I'm going to add some more chili powder at this point. I know we already put some on the meat, but I'm just going to add a little more. I'm going to go ahead and turn that burner down to low, put the lid on, just let that simmer while we get cooking on our noodles. This is just regular macaroni. You can use whatever noodle you want. I do highly recommend a noodle that has a hole through it, though. It works really good with this dish. The sauce gets inside the noodle there in the hollowed out noodle, and it just makes it really good. This is a 2-pound box macaroni. I'm going to only use half of it. I'm just going to use 1 pound of pasta. And I'm going to give that a little stir as soon as it goes in, just to keep it from all sticking to the bottom. And I'm going to put the lid on, but put the lid on about 95%. Just leave it cracked a little bit. That way it doesn't boil over on me. And with this dish, I like to cook the pasta till it's about 80% done or so. Because once you put in the other ingredients, the pasta is going to continue to cook. And if you cook the pasta all the way to complete tenderness now, when you go to eat it, it's going to be mushy. So if you cook it to about 80% done here, that's the best result that I've found. And it probably takes about 10 minutes or so. I like to pull a noodle out every once in a while just to check, make sure I'm not getting overcooked here. And once they're about 80% done, I'm going to go ahead and drain them in a colander and then put them back in the same pot. And then in goes that meat and chili sauce mixture. Going to give that a mix it up real good. And what you've got right here is basically a goulash, but here's where the magic happens. Here comes the cheese. Go ahead and mix that in, and it's going to really start to turn into something that looks incredible. I'm just going to slowly mix that up and get all that sauce and cheese work together. That sauce will start to incorporate itself into the cavities within the noodles, and it's just really coming together here, as you can see. And the best way to serve this is right away. We usually don't have side vegetables with this, usually just a side salad. Is this a healthy and well-balanced meal? Absolutely not. Not at all. I mean, it's basically obesity and heart disease on a plate. But hey, every once in a while, this is delicious. This is a super simple weeknight meal. Probably only takes 20-30 minutes to put together. And it'll really fill you up for sure for tonight and probably the next day too. That's my recipe for Chili Mac, kids version. Hope you found that useful. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.